Hey guys, an update for you. Car's still here. It's been a couple days. This car was towed here to me or dropped off, so I never got a chance to drive it. And when I took it out for a drive, it performed poorly. Those codes that were in there earlier were for lean on both banks 1 and 2. There was something weird with that. It ended up being, after I tested it and did a bunch of looking through it, for one, on the return line, I took that off and had the car running. No fuel was coming out of the return line, which to me is either a fuel pressure regulator, a kinked line. Actually, it couldn't be a kinked line, but either it's the fuel pressure regulator or fuel pump or some combination of that. So the easiest thing I did was pull it off the fuel pressure regulator, and that was a mess. It fell apart in my hand. I replaced that. There was still no fuel coming out of the return line. The owner told me that the fuel pump was only a couple months old and it was generic. So I went ahead and pulled it. Well, it was a little more complicated than that. On the A6, the fuel pump is under the rear passenger side, so it's really low, and the fuel tank was full. It had a little over 17 gallons in it. So we had to drain that first, and then I was able to get the fuel pump out, and I'll show you what it looked like. As you could see, the fuel pump, the bottom of it was broken, and it's totally a generic pump. So I went ahead and ordered a new OEM factory pump, and I will be putting that in. Nice brand new pump, looks OEM. Let's get it installed. One of the symptoms I had was when you stepped on the gas, the car didn't go anywhere. It just cruised right along at a steady pace, no matter if you get full throttle, half throttle. Also going uphill, you really noticed it. Going downhill, and you gave it a little gas, it went a little bit because there was no torque on it or no load on the motor. Here's where the fuel pump is on the A6 or the C5 A6 or Allroad. You can see I took it out, drained most of the fuel out of it. Already took the pump out because it was junk. This whole piece, this whole thing will come out. I'll just replace it all. To get out the return line, this piece you could just lift up. It's gonna be hard to do with one hand and show you guys. See that? And then I just have to pinch this together and take that line off. Out with the old. Now you have to make sure you put this pump all the way seated in right. You just have to be careful when you install it that it seats all the way down, the whole basket, the whole assembly. Trying to get big hands to fit in here is hard. Alright, clipped in. Make sure it's locked in, which it is. These don't matter direction. Make sure your gasket's in there. Gasket, that would have been stinky. Forget that. Seals installed. I will tighten this with the hammer and screwdriver. I'll hit it this way. There's probably a special tool for this, which I do not have. I just use a little hammer and a mallet, or a mallet and a screwdriver, tighten this up. Fuel pump is in. Just have to start the car or add some gas to it first because it's super low, and see if you know, I get fuel out the return line. Here's the fuel pump. You can see, it's hard to see. It's not straight. See how it's poking out? Hopefully you guys could see that. And it's a generic cheap ass pump. This is what's left of the fuel pressure regulators. It's all broken and cracked in here. Sorry, I'm missing my hat. I took it off. So I took the car out for a drive. Runs perfect. You give it gas and the sucker goes. It's a fun little car. It scoots around. Till next time, guys, keep wrenching.